Yeah, so here we go again. Been grocery shopping among other things. Spent a little more than usual. Then again, had a lot of limbo days recently, and I did get a whole crate of 20 bottles of drink. Four of those bottles are not with me, and this is the fifth of those. You might be able to see the level is here and it's still closed. It's because I had a little whoopsie happen to me on the way. The supermarket I prefer, the supermarket of my preference, has escalators down to the parking garage, underground parking garage, which are, for obvious reasons, tilted downward when you're going down them. I managed to not secure my load properly, my load being a crate of this stuff, Paulana Spezi, highly recommend, which kind of led to the entire crate tumbling down, emptying all its contents. Only one of the bottles broke, so I guess that's good news, you know. It was almost poetic. It's surprising how well these bottles are designed, I guess. Four spilling and one breaking, and the other, 15 being fine. That's a 75% survival rate, man. And four injured. Only one fatally wounded, you know, so pretty impressive. Earlier today, I did get my new battery for the car. I now have an 80 amp hour battery instead of the previously installed 74 amp hour battery. It took me not even a cigarette's time to change over the battery. Then again, it is 3 nuts, lifting out, lifting in, and 3 nuts again. Surprisingly, there was 3 nuts because I hadn't considered the fact that the battery is secured. Otherwise, it would be kind of a big weight to just, shift around. It is secured with a 16mm nut, and I directly guessed the size correctly. So I'm really happy about that. I have been very effective at procrastinating today. I have managed to build a Velcro door for my grow box-ish thing, I guess it is. I did build that yesterday night. It's just legs of a table and the tabletop for construct around which I put cellar wrap walls, or wrap, I guess, with some tin foil in between, reflective side inward, to make it as efficient as possible, to not waste energy using lights, because you wouldn't want to waste lights in your micro garden in your flat, you know. Then again, this is the second iteration because the first iteration is starting to be outgrown, which is, I guess, good news. I don't really need 2 plants, and I don't really need any. I'm just growing out of principle because I don't like the idea of smoking dope and driving, so I'm not going to be smoking dope. Same as I don't drink a whiskey in the morning. With alcohol, the difference is your system gets rid of it completely, measurably, within hours. With THC, sadly, you do not, so I just don't, you know. Once in a blue moon, perhaps, in the past, but in the future that might very well change to 0. That being said, I do plan on fully growing and harvesting just for the sake of it, because I am allowed to. And previous generations were not allowed to, you know. I did also spontaneously yesterday night decide to order some more printer paper because I got less than 60 sheets remaining, and just with papers I'm printing out to read and cite for my thesis, I'm going to be running through those 60 sheets by the end of the week, no problems, even if I print double-sided. So I guess that's something, you know. Ordered another 2,500 sheets of paper. Metric paper. German norm. Deutsches Institut für Normierung. Previously Deutsche Industrienorm. German Industrial Norm. Now German Institute for Norms. A4 paper. So square root of 2 to 1 side ratio, which is nice because you can half it and you get the next norm. You can take 2 of it and you get the previous norm. So, you know. I have been doing a bit of reading, but I haven't been remotely productive enough. I did manage to play some video games earlier today. While waiting for the packages to arrive, I did also get another package which includes some silo tarp, which is the polyethylene, I believe it is, tarp, black one side, white the other. I plan on stapling that to the walls of my cellar compartment, just so it's not a C-in one, and then I can also store some boxes for higher value things in there. I won't store higher value things just because that'd be asking for trouble, but I'll then store boxes for higher value things, you know. It's not like we get burgled all the time, but it's not worth the risk, so. Wow, that's sweet. This is Refreshment Sticks by Greason. Orange lemon flavour. Way too sweet. Good news is they'll last a long time then, because if they're too sweet for me, hell, I mean, that means they're really sweet. I did spend $82 and 47 cents grocery shopping. That was after returning some empties. Then again, I only returned a small crate and I picked up a big crate, which I lost 4 bottles right away, which puts me right in between that medium crate amount of bottles and fluid. I'm okay with what I spent, I guess, because there's also some stuff for longer term, like another kilo of peanuts, which I don't plan on eating anytime soon. I still have an open kilo, and they're just good to have for, you know, when you need them. Rather have them than not. Then again, I don't know if I should be spending money like that, because late in the year I got to get a general inspection on the car and I got to pay insurance for the car. So this car gave me a lot of joy in my life, and is a good thing to have, because otherwise I'd be pretty stuck, pretty stranded most of the time. Though this city does have public transport infrastructure, I'd be pretty stranded without it. So is my top priority, I guess. Funny way of thinking of it, but without it I wouldn't be going grocery shopping, hell. These days, luckily, I believe there is a couple of free services that actually deliver to my place, so I could order groceries. Then again, I much prefer doing it myself, because I am very specific in my requirements. I have yet to change the switch for the dash cam. Those have arrived yesterday, so I might do that later on, because it's literally pull off the connection, push the new ones on. It's not remotely much work, but I might actually do it proper this time and solder the connections. Then again, with how long this one lasted, just over a year, I believe, roughly ballpark, bit less, just under a year, I might not want to solder it, so I might just crimp on some spade bits. I guess, what's the opposite of a spade? A spoon? I don't actually know. The opposite to spade connector, because the bottom of the switch resembles spade connectors. In which case I can hot swap the switches and I can carry spares, which is a very nerdy thing. Then again, minimum order of those is 5 for $7, so might just well carry some spares, you know. I mean, I carry a lot of things. I got a spare driver's side door mirror. Then again, that's not as good as new. That's got a fractured housing, and theoretically I don't know if it's passed general inspection. It's not got any sharp edges on it, which I believe is the main criteria, but is very neatly bodged. But nonetheless, it is still bodged, you know. My cigarette consumption today has been alright. I've had, what now, 7 car cigarettes and probably 5 or 6 outside the car. Call that 7 as well. So I managed to stay below 20 for the day. Then again, I have not smoked a blunt, really. I had the rest of one here in the CBD blunt, here in the ashtray, which I did finish, but I got to kind of sit down and take the time to roll some, and I wouldn't mind doing so, because one can do that while consuming new media, you know. Then again, there's not time I'm being productive writing my thesis, or even being productive cleaning up my flat. So that's something I still got to sort out. I now have more shelving space in my flat, so I'll be able to migrate all the growing stuff from the bathroom to the kitchen, I guess. That'll work. That'll be a fun one. I'll have my bathroom back. It's oddly pleasant knowing one have one's kitchen mostly sorted. When I come home, everything got its place, even the stuff I've bought only the second time, like the peanuts. That would be a solid one, and I did get 15 litres of milk, 12 of the regular kind for €1 a litre, and 3 of the fancy kind for €1.50 a litre. But it's non-homogenised, so you get the cream separating out, which is really pleasant, and it's way fresher because it's from the surrounding area here. It's only a couple of days old, So don't last as long, but tastes better. And I believe it tastes enough better to justify the extra expense of 150%. With the camera on the car, ever since I've last reset it, which was when I installed the third camera again, facing out back, hidden all above the ceiling, all the way to the back until it come out of a small hole. The wire, that is, not the camera. I've had the G sensor on medium, which I believe is more pleasant and sensible, because if I were to hit something, I'm fairly confident it'd still trigger it. But it don't trigger when I accelerate, which is a pleasant thing. But it's also unnerving in some way, because I don't actually know it's recording. Like, every now and then I find myself just pushing the button just to make sure the camera's still going. Because in the end of the day, there is no way, size, shape or form a requirement. It does give me a lot of peace of mind. So, I have wondered. I don't think there's 5 or 6 channel cameras out there. Otherwise, I'd, in the mid-term, consider it for an upgrade with one facing out of each side as well. That'd be a legal pain to do anything with, even just store. Because you'd have to anonymise the data to store it, and out the sides you see a lot of faces and places and so on. But it's given me a lot of peace of mind with cyclists and so on. Then again, that's all fever dreams. Other fever dreams I do have is putting, first off, a CB radio in here. Civilian band, I believe is what it stands for. Just for trucking. I've been trucking miles. And I would love to have a separate switch panel in the ceiling above the driver's seat, though I don't know how legal that is. And that's fever dream, next 5-year plans, With a switch panel, I'd be able to toggle several things, like wire up the interior lights so I can toggle those on that and things like that. Just because, why not? It's fun. And it's really nice if you have everything in control from one position. The driver's seat. I am still meaning to reposition my reversing camera, because it is currently on the back inside of the boot lid, but you cannot even see the trailer hitch. I have to admit, I was the one to install it in the first place, so it's kind of my fault, but I did not install it for me, and you have to follow your customers, in my case, my dad's wishes. So, nah. I did manage to have a shower yesterday. I believe that was... I don't know if I talked to myself yesterday. I don't got memory for this. But was that yesterday? No, that was today. I showered today, so you don't know about this yet. And I've had a little shave, just with a machine, but it feels good to be showered. I've managed to shift my insomnia away most of the time. My circadian rhythm is close to back to normal. By tomorrow, I aim to get up to be at my former place for internship at 9 in the morning, because I got to figure out, well, I don't got to, but I'd like to figure out some technological aspects for testing some equipment no one there know how to handle. I do not know either, but if I learn it, I am of more value, and it's fun for me because I get to gather knowledge. Then again, it is once again not working on the thesis. I'll take the thesis stuff though, and I'll feel pressured to at least write a couple of pages, so I don't know. That's something I'll have to sort, but, you know, cross that bridge when we get there. Driving have been a lot of fun. Even with traffic, I ain't too fussed about it. I believe I've done 44 and a half Ks today. The trip meter is still misaligned with the diesel tank, which I am slightly concerned with, but I kind of really don't want to spend the money to tank diesel in Germany. So I'm still split about it, because really I want the fuel efficiency numbers, I want to know how far I've gone before I go on reserve or so. So that's something I'll still have to figure out. Then again, it's seeming more and more likely I won't be able to do a tank of city driving before I drive cross country again, for which I'll want to start off with a full tank because I have range anxiety. This car can, on one tank, fairly easily drive from the furthest extremes of the country to the other furthest extreme. I believe it have the range for that. Then again, I'm not even driving that, I'm driving 2/3 that distance. And I got range anxiety. So, I don't know how I'd do an electric car, Ooh, a charger, let's charge. But we still have 80%. Yeah, it's only 80%. That'd be a bit odd. This is not public speaking, so I'm allowed to do that. I kind of want to get my flat sorted before I go for the cross-country multi-annual migration. I'm not too far from doing that. It's just half a day's work, I believe. And considering currently my focus should be on writing, I believe I'll be fairly quick at getting my flat sorted. Because it's not writing, which should be my focus. Productive in all the wrong ways, as the last episode was called. Session 146, I believe. This would be 147, which means it's the 150th installment of this. Woo! Wow, fuck, I've done this for quite a while. Yeah. By the way, thank you very much for watching. Helps me to know anyone out there could have heard this, and you are contributing to it, so thank you very much. Hope you get something out of it, otherwise I don't know what you're doing here. That being said, I am familiar with approximately half of you lot recurring people. I don't mind, it's just I'm happy I'm not familiar with all of you, because I would love to be able to assume for anyone to have seen this, just because it helps myself overthink before I speak. For I believe I have not named anyone, and I have only given one set of initials, which was Alpha Bravo, which is the person. I got the from them, which more people will be able to figure out from the aspect than from the initials. So yeah, It feels really good being mobile again, man. Not having to worry about, how am I going to get somewhere? It's worth the money in the end of the day. It's an arm and a leg to upkeep and running costs. But the moment I get a paycheck, I'd be happy to spend half my paycheck on this, to keep it running, obviously. First off, I'm not going to be in the position to do this thing up more, get pinstripes or so, who knows. But over time I might very well do something like that, get some DIN 7030, I believe. Stickers for the outside, which is the red and white stripes European people will be familiar with. I don't know if they exist in America. If so, then probably not with DIN norm. I believe it may even be a DIN N. I'm not sure which the number for that would be, though. Just because, I like the aesthetic. And if I also get a CB radio, that'll all add up. Then all I need is the yellow flashy lights and a hazard vest, which I have right here. And I'll be able to do what I want. Oh no, I believe I act authoritative enough wherever I am that most people wouldn't question my behaviour. Then again, my own ethics is my hardest limiting factor because the law is apparently not as strict, particularly in enforcement, as my own ethics. Hell, I feel bad when I go 5 over the speed limit. The Uber on day before yesterday, that was, on my way out of town, went 85 in a 50, and that's not even the car speedometer. That's GPS. That's that's 35 over. That's more over than some speed limits, some common speed limits. I just can't fathom that, and it did actually knock me out for the rest of the day. So yeah, even though I went driving myself, still felt bad about it, felt painful about it. Caused me pain. Then again, I don't believe that's a reason to give an Uber a bad review, because at the end of the day, that's their profession. It's the same as with couriers. If they're in a hurry and they park horribly, there's a general acceptance toward it. I'm not saying it's good, that acceptance. I'm simply stating it is, and I understand why. Then again, they should perhaps consider unionising some of them. Because being asked to operate heavy machinery irresponsibly to fill your quota is not responsible management in my book. It should be in the company's interest for them to operate their heavy machinery or motor vehicles, as it's also known, responsibly. It should be in the company's interests, even if they are independent contractors. Because at the end of the day, even if they are independent contractors, they have your company's name on the car. And it's not good seeing run over cyclists or cyclists having to wait because there's someone parked on the bicycle way, with your company name on the car. That's not a good idea. Then again, the public at large doesn't appear to care enough. So I guess as long as there's no repercussions, the companies aren't going to change their behaviours, that is. Companies not changing is a bigger thing. That's just capitalism at large, to be fair. Be profit oriented or die. It's basically how capitalism works, I guess, which is not good for me. Then again, that's for companies, not for individuals, so I do not have to be profit oriented. As long as I can keep myself above board, above water, I'm happy. And future of that is getting closer and closer. I am actually getting to the point where I am wondering whether I should start working in September, not in October. Because assuming everything goes smoothly with the thesis, I will have passed my bachelor's degree by then, and I would love the free time, but I really kind of want the structure in life of having a job, and the operating capital of having a job, which means I am honestly considering forfeiting that last month of the student loan/grant scheme, and that's even though I haven't even passed my bachelor's. Hell, I haven't even been admitted to my bachelor's. They haven't accepted my proposed thesis subject yet. So that's something I've still got to sort out. Slightly concerning. Well, I'll manage, Now I think I should have taken a picture of the bottles going down the escalator. I was actually wondering after. It would be interesting to know if one can convince the place to, on a Sunday, let one in there just to throw crates of drinks down the escalator. Then again, that's probably fairly expensive, because to properly clean the escalator after, they'd probably have to get a technician out, So, but that'd be an interesting art piece. Criticising consumerism, I guess. Well, interpretation is up to the viewer. That's the easiest way to do art. I bought a surprising amount of fizzy drinks. Dr. Pepper Zero, ginger beer, Ein Brew, Coca-Cola, I probably spent $15 on just fizzy drinks today, on canned fizzy drinks, which is probably more than it should be. Then again, I also spent like $8 on getting a pack of 4 sausages, which are thick and long, and one of them constitute a meal, to be fair, together with some spuds or so. But odds are I'll have 2 at a time, because otherwise they won't last for long enough for me to be eating them. When I get home, I might want to clean the flat a bit, but I highly suspect for today I'm done. I'm probably just gonna chill, maybe roll some blunts. You know, probably that. Yeah, roll some blunts, watch some videos, and go to bed. Get my circadian rhythm fixed. You know, and that's a thumbnail. There we go. Yeah, getting my circadian rhythm fixed will be something nice, eh? Being able to sleep proper, in alignment with society's norms. I say fixed. That have an odd connotation to it, as if an offset circadian rhythm were wrong or broken. That's not what I'm actually meaning to say. Getting my circadian rhythm adjusted to be closer to the norm, I guess. Because in the end of the day, it helped me a lot. If I can, for example, phone the Office for Student Loans / Grants, Amt for BAföG Amt, to tell them they still owe me approximately £1,000, and I kind of have to do that, you know. As I owe it to my future self to make sure I get that money, because I can't have been paying to do an internship. That's not how that's supposed to work, you know. In the end of the day, I understand more and more why some people, even some people in my life in the past, decide to screw the system and do things their own way. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but I understand it more and more. Because if you try and abide the system, because the system itself is imperfect, and the people executing are more so because they are human, you end up getting screwed over and having a lot of extra work a lot of the time. So I can't even blame people who don't want to do bills if you take their services. Because in the end of the day, I mean, system's only good if it works, you know, and if some aspects of a system don't do their job, it's just going to cause more extra work for other people. And there's absolutely no benefit to the system at that point, because you have the disadvantages without the benefits. Then again, the benefits are for society at large, which is something those people do not always consider, I believe. I can't fault them for it, because the system seemed to be focused on screwing the single person over, which is kind of odd, you know. You'd think it's not that hard to sort out. Give me 10 years and infinite funds, and, well, not even infinite funds, just the funds of a country, and I'll sort out a system for you, how you can, even accounting for the human variable, get everything smooth and running. That is accounting for the human variable of the individual, not organised human variable. If an entire job sector decide to not do their job, there's nothing one can do about it. But it's just structural issues, man. It's not like the plod all of a sudden chose, oh, I'm not going to be doing my job. It's a matter of comfort creep, which is the same thing I've experienced with quality of life standards. In the end of the day, they just don't do it less and less frequent until they don't care. And then people start speeding, and if no one cares, the people don't get any repercussions, they have no reason to stop speeding. As example, there is many an issue. Speeding is just an easy one to go to, you know. Anyways, I hope to be able to continue to function as part of the system, though I am not neurotypical, and the system is made by neurotypicals for neurotypicals, of neurotypicals. I'll still hope that I can function within the system. Longer term, I might leave the system and switch systems. I highly suspect all neurotypical systems will be alike with similar issues, though. Some might be more lenient. Never know. That's something future me have got to sort out. I hope you also got some ideas what future you have got to sort out. Thank you very much for sticking around and watching all this. It means something to me, truly. Stay safe. I'll see you around. Cheerio.